Hi, welcome to Action for Animals. I'm Stacey Russell, and today I'm sitting in for Peter Allen, and this is our exciting new program where we've been educating the public about how to take care of various types of animals, whether you have them at home as domestic pets, whether they're birds or they're snakes, or yes, other types of exotic creatures. And today we have a particularly exciting program because we have 2 snakes in studio, and we'll be talking with the founder of Marizayra Sanctuary. His name is Ryan Inniss, and his life's work is taking care of reptiles and other exotic creatures and ensuring that they are safe, they are well kept, and they are not getting into the ecosystem of Barbados and causing any kind of unfavorable damage. So stay tuned, and we're going to get right into talking with Ryan soon after we go to Gail Hunt, who is on location telling us a little bit more about what happens at Marizayra Sanctuary.
Hi, so this is Gail, and this is another Action for Animals. Today we're at the beautiful Marizayra Sanctuary, and I'm here with Annika, and I'm with her, and she has in her hand, as you can see, a snake called Raina. So the Marizayra Sanctuary does a lot of rehabilitation and rescue work with reptiles. So we really wanted to give them a voice to learn the kind of work that they do, why they do it. So she's moving around a lot, so we'll keep this short, but tell us the background story, Annika, on Raina.
Okay, so rainbow is known as a rainbow boa. I'm not certain if you'll be able to see how the light reflects off of her, but basically we had her about going on 3 years, and her previous owner was not able to handle her anymore because she's very aggressive and she was getting very bitey, and a lot of people is afraid of that. So what I'm doing is just trying to tame her down and get her into where people will be feeling very comfortable in handling with her. And right now she's not too bad, so you can touch her if you want to.
Okay. And when they bite, what kind of a bite is it?
It'll be very quick, but if anything, the closest I would say is like feeling like 2 needles giving you a little jolt.
Okay, and are they poisonous?
No, so we don't have venomous snakes here in Barbados. We have ball pythons and boa constrictors, which are squeezers. But here at the Marizayra Sanctuary, we still have our snakes tamed down that we feel comfortable, we can trust them with toddlers.
All right then, so how would you know then that she is in an aggressive frame of mind or a relaxed frame of mind?
Okay, so right now she's just moving around, just exploring me, exploring her surroundings. But when a snake is in that mood that she wants to attack, you will see that the snake is actually going to go into a very, so something like this, but a tighter S, and you will see her strike back.
All right.
That is one of the indications you will know, well, yes, you need to get away from that snake.
So since you've had her here at the Marizayra Sanctuary, have you seen a change in her behavior? Is she less aggressive?
Yes, she's a lot calmer now. A lot calmer.
So do you think that's because of the kind of attention? Because people might want a snake but not understand its needs.
Exactly.
So what are the basic needs for Raina? What's a typical day for her in terms of her care?
Well, to be quite honest, snakes are pretty low maintenance, but our feedings, we do it on a course of a 2-week span. We'll just clean out the habitat, clean out her water bowl every day, but other than that, there's not much going to do.
Yeah, so she obviously can't be released into the wild, so this is now going to be her home.
Yes.
Okay. So how big do you anticipate her growing?
They don't really grow that big, to be quite honest. So roughly 4 to 6 feet, maximum on that 6.
That's quite big for some people, though.
Yes, but we do have snakes that grow a lot bigger in the world.
Yeah, of course we do, yeah.
Yes.
So she's looking at me, but I don't want to tempt fate by touching her unless her head's facing the other way.
No problem.
So turn her head the other way and I'll give her another little...
Yeah, so what she would do, she would just wrap herself around you. So that's just like security so she does not fall.
Yeah, understood. You're safe, Raina.
Yes.
Yeah, you're bringing her a bit too close to me, though.
Today is all about reptile care and conservation. And on location, back at Marizayra Sanctuary, we have Gail Hunt. And have you ever wondered how you can tell the mood of a reptile? Well, she is there with a very happy snake, a snake called Merciless.
I heard you said earlier today that we're going to bring on a bigger snake on set. So we actually trust this girl. She is one that she is actually an ambassador here at the sanctuary. So we will take her out into schools and stuff like that. And we allow children to actually hold her and get hold of her to learn about these guys, all right?
Okay.
Because I think that's what's needed here in Barbados.
Yes.
We need to teach persons about these things so that if they do see them in the wild, what they can do instead of killing these animals.
Right,
okay?
so my question to you then is, Merciless is a very, very big snake.
Well,
all
she
right?
is.
So she would have been, at some point, somebody would have had her as a
She
pet?
was somebody's pet before.
And what happened? How did you acquire her?
Well, they couldn't no longer take care of her. They were migrating, so they couldn't no longer take her. Obviously, they couldn't take her on the plane. So they decided to bring her here to the sanctuary and asked me if I would take her over at the time. At first, I knew this snake was going to grow into a big snake. I was a little iffy at first, but then when she first came here, she was only at least about 3.5 feet. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, this snake, like anybody, this snake was a small snake, but then these snakes grow into big snakes.
What's the biggest that she can grow?
She would grow up to 12 feet in length.
All right. How
Yes.
big is she now?
And right now, she's 9.5 going 10 feet.
Okay, she hasn't got much longer then to get to 12 feet.
Well, yes, but it won't they won't get there like next year.
No,
They
I
would
can hear a hissing sound. What's
yeah,
that?
she actually, that's her breathing.
Oh, that's right. So she's not hissing
Yeah,
at me.
if she's hissing, you will hear, everybody on camera will hear as
All
well.
right, because then, you see, I think a lot of the fear that people have with snakes is, Garden of Eden, the snake.
Yes, it goes way
so
back.
people think that snakes are kind of dangerous, they're sneaky, they're going to kind of like attack you at any moment, they're not to be
But you know what, Gail?
trusted.
As long as we respect the animal, that's the greatest thing, huh? If we respect the animals will respect us. And if you see a wild snake, you keep your distance from that snake, that's the best thing that you can do. Even if you want to observe that snake, keep your distance, observe the animal or be it a snake or whatever, observe the animal, keep your distance, and
Well,
you're good.
personally, I have to say, because I'm another person that goes by energy, and I can feel very
Look at that.
calm. I can feel very
Look at-
calm.
she's just there resting on
I can
your
feel a
shoulder.
very calm energy from her.
Awesome.
And she doesn't feel wet or slimy.
Lots
She
of
feels
persons believe that
very,
she's
very
wet and
dry,
slimy.
and she's got the most beautiful markings. I mean, if you really study her
Awesome.
markings, how often does she shed, Ryan?
A snake would shed their skin every month. Every month they would shed their skin. And it's a little process that they go through, like a week prior to that, before the old skin is off, the eyes would get cloudy, they wouldn't move around,
Okay.
and they would stay in that one position for for at least a week before they then start to take the
Yeah.
skin skeleton off. They shed
Now,
off.
with a dog and a cat, it's quite easy to tell when they're happy by their behaviour. Snakes, their communication is obviously different. How do
Exactly.
you know when they're happy and healthy?
I like to tell persons, if you're going to keep a snake, you got to learn the snake's behavior. Gail, as you're seeing there, and everybody's seeing at home right now, how she's just there resting on you. This snake is passive. If you come across another snake and you start to see the snake starts to recoil and go into S position, and you may hear a hissing sound, that is basically telling you, hey, you're a little too close, you're in my space. We don't need that, step back.
Right.
If you don't adhere to that, then there's the other consequences then, right?
Right.
But what you're having here now, this is passive behavior. She's just leaning on your shoulder. She's awesome.
All
We can trust her to be with anyone. That's why she's actually now an ambassador here at the Marizayra Sanctuary experience.
Well, I think it's absolutely beautiful because I know persons will be thinking, well, we don't want to encourage snakes in Barbados. I know you don't.
No, we don't. No, we
but
don't.
you rescue them.
Yes.
So persons can contact you. Just if somebody has a snake and it escapes.
Well, I would prefer them
to contact you.
But even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning time, if your snake escapes, that I can try, we can come over, we can try. It's best to have, let persons know, well, listen, this has escaped from me than someone being cleaning their garden and come across these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to let her go back to her enclosure so she can relax.
So yeah, but Gail, did your cardio today?
What you doing? What you up to, Ryan?
Let me just say.
Hang on a minute, Ryan. Okay.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, she's so heavy.
Guys, Gail, are you okay?
I feel all right.
Okay, guys,
Yeah, I
Gail
feel
is a
okay.
person who actually goes off for energy. If you know Gail, Hunt, Gail goes off for positive energy. Gail, you cool, right?
Yeah, I'm quite cool.
Awesome, guys.
But where's she going now? Around my
Somewhere,
neck. Around my neck. All right, Merciless.
Gail,
She's got the
thank
name Merciless for a reason, Ryan,
Well,
right?
well, again, when she first came here, she had that kind of feeding aggression to her, that she was kind of a little merciless. So that's why she was given the name.
Yeah, she's absolutely
but
gorgeous.
to change
though.
that name now probably would not.
Oh,
work.
she's absolutely gorgeous. Can I
Thank
take
you
her,
very
can I take
much.
her home with me?
Okay, Gail,
My
feel
cats
free.
wouldn't- my cats
I
wouldn't be
don't
very
think
happy.
your cats will be happy
My
about
cats
that,
will
Gail.
no, they won't be very happy. I'm going to give her back to you now.
But Gail, once again, thank you so much for visiting the Marizayra Sanctuary, for
Always a
spreading the word.
pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I'm now joined by Ryan Inniss, the founder of Marizayra Sanctuary, here in studio, and he's going to talk with us a lot more about conserving those reptiles and taking care of them. Over the last few years, many Barbadians have been bringing exotic animals into the country. Some of them, unfortunately, have been smuggled in. And when these pets don't meet their expectations, or they grow too big, or they simply don't know how to take care of them, they abandon these creatures. And here is where Ryan comes in and his Marizayra Sanctuary. Hi, Ryan.
Hi,
how are you
Stacey.
today?
I am great. Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on the Action for Animals program.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Great. So yes.
Tell
as you
me about Marizayra Sanctuary. It sounds very interesting. I don't know who would decide that they're going to take care of reptiles when you have the options of, I guess, caring for cats and dogs.
Well, exactly. That's why this was formed, because during that time that I decided to, after I left my career as being a police officer, there was no one who actually taken animals, exotic animals. It was always that cat or dog, as you said before, which would go into a shelter. So then I found that there were lots of exotic animals being left out. So we decided then to create this place for basically a safe haven for those animals.
But it has to be much more than that.
Well,
what really inspired you to focus on these kinds of animals?
Well, it went way back as when I was in, let's say, primary school. My dad, he always had lots of different types of exotic animals, like iguanas and that type of stuff back then.
Okay.
So I grew up into this kind of animal husbandry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do at Marizayra Sanctuary? We've seen some of it, but tell me about some of the other animals besides the snakes that you have there.
Well, we have a wide variety of animals, from, let's say, from fish, birds. We got a wide variety of birds.
Okay.
There's other animals. Sometimes we do have some farm animals, such as like rabbits. We do have, we actually have some spiders.
Really?
Yes, we do have.
Now, a spider can't be considered as abandoned, can they?
Well, we do, no. At the sanctuary, we do educate lots of persons of things that you will see here in Barbados. Like, for instance, we are seeing some spiders now, which is called a hunt spider. And we have some of those spiders at the sanctuary that you would not normally see in Barbados. So that's why the sanctuary was created, as a form of education to enlighten persons of these things.
So it's not just about rescuing animals, but it's also having exotic animals on show that people can come and they can see.
Exactly.
So do you have it opened for people to come and visit?
Yes, we're open Mondays to Fridays from 10 until 3, by bookings only.
Okay.
Saturdays, Sundays, and bank holidays, we're open from 12 until 5 p.m. where you don't have to make a booking. It's basically like a family day on weekends and bank holidays.
Okay.
So it's a small fee of only $20 per adult and $12 per child.
Okay.
And we also do school tours as well, and it's only $10 per child per school.
Good, great. So tell me about some of the other people who help you to take care of the animals. How do you recruit them? Are they staff? Are they volunteers? Do you have to pay them?
Yes, we do have to pay them. I have a very small staff, including my mom, because it's basically a family business.
Right.
So I have, there are 2 permanent staff, and then we have what we would call convenient staff. They come on weekends,
Okay.
just for tours and stuff like that. But we do have a program which we call a JALP program. It's called the Junior Animal Lovers Program, where we encourage young persons who may not be academically inclined, but they may love animals.
Okay.
So we actually provide a animal foundation for persons who may want to be veterinarians in the future.
Okay.
So they can come on to our program. It's usually on Saturdays. It runs from 9 until 12. So this program basically helps them to get au fait with hands-on treatment with the animals, and we bring in veterinarians sometimes who would actually give them more education than I can give them.
Is this a program that they have to pay for?
No,
or is
it's
it for
actually a
free?
free program so far.
Okay.
So far.
How are you funding all of this? Running the sanctuary, training these people who are going to work with the animals? Where's the money coming from?
Stacey, I'm going to be honest with you. This basically comes from my pockets and the money generated when persons come to visit the sanctuary. So that's why I don't refer to the animals that we have at the sanctuary as animals, but I call them teammates, because they are generating the money which goes back into training the youth.
You said that it's a business, but is it really profitable? Or would you be better off running it as a charity?
Sometimes it's true, it is better off running it as a charity, because most of the money that we make basically go back into animal feeds.
Okay.
And sometimes if I have to pay for, let's say, materials for the children to work with.
Tell me about some of the materials that you
If
make
I have
for
to
them.
get paper, obviously, because sometimes after the children are there for like 6 months, we give them a small exam to ensure that they're qualified of knowing about the animal, knowing about the species, knowing about how to take care of this animal. Where are these animals from? That type of stuff. So we need to bring it, we need to get all types of paper, we need pens, all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So, and again, all this money that is generated by entry fees basically goes back into the sanctuary.
What about the actual care of the animals? Can we talk a little bit more about the reptiles, for instance?
Okay, cool.
What do you need to give them every day
All right,
to keep them,
okay.
alive, healthy, and well, and thriving?
Awesome question. So because these animals are not in the wild, they require a special diet. Also, they require minerals, vitamins, all that stuff must be bought. Because again, these animals require calcium like most of us do. So we still got to go buy these things to put in their diets.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to buy rats, we have to buy rabbits for these snakes and for the other predators that we have at the sanctuary.
What's a typical day like for you?
Oh wow, it's up like from 5:30. If I'm not starting with administrative work, I'm going out ensuring that all the enclosures they're still there, the animals are still alive, to make sure and everything has to be recorded. The days that they're fed, because not every animal is fed on the same day.
Okay.
So we need to know when this animal has to be fed. Like for instance, the snakes. Our snakes are used as ambassadors. So we want that if you're coming over to the sanctuary and you're going to be handling a particular snake, we need to know that that snake is fed.
Okay.
So that we don't have any incidents happening. So all records have to be kept, how old the snake is, when last it saw the vet, all that type of stuff must be kept. So all that goes into administration work.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. And Ryan will give us some more insights when we come back right after the break. We're talking with Ryan Inniss. He is the founder of Marizayra Sanctuary in St. Philip, and he takes care of exotic animals, inclusive of snakes. You know, one of the things that we didn't talk about earlier on was the name Marizayra.
Oh.
It's very uncommon. Tell me about that.
Well, it's my daughter's name, both my daughter's name put together, Mariana and Nazira,
Okay.
Marizayra.
Oh,
Yes,
great.
lots of persons do ask us about the name.
That's so cute.
Yes.
Now let's go back to the serious business about dealing with these exotic creatures in Barbados. One of your messages, I think your loudest message is people should not be too quick to have a snake, for instance, as a pet.
Yep.
And
yep.
why is that so important for Barbadians to understand?
Because having a snake comes with high responsibility. And for persons who know me, I am very high on responsibility of having these exotic animals here in Barbados. We don't want them to escape into the ecosystem. So if you're going to be having a snake, we encourage persons to do your research about the animal before actually getting the animal.
Okay.
Okay? Because snakes are known as escape artists. So if I had to give you a snake today and you had to take it home, within the next 24 hours, that snake will be looking to escape from the enclosure. It's a new enclosure, and that snake will be looking to escape. So we don't want that. So before having this animal, you got to make sure that you have a safe and a enclosure that this animal will not escape from it.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. And we actually have two of your reptiles in the studio today.
Yes.
I am so curious
So Stacey,
and anxious to meet them.
so before you actually meet them, I'm going to answer your question. Have you ever had COVID before?
Well, actually, I haven't.
Okay, well,
which has been a good thing.
you're about to meet COVID,
COVID.
and we can't have COVID without having the pandemic.
Wow.
So you're going to have the pandemic. How does it feel, Stacey?
It's an awesome feeling. He is so warm. I'm assuming that it's a he.
Yes, they're both males. They're only 2 years of age. These guys were hatched during the COVID pandemic season, and that's why they gained the names COVID and pandemic.
And how can you tell the gender of the snake?
All right, it's quite easy for those persons who know what they're dealing with. All right, so male snakes have something called hemipenes, and this is actually found at the base of the tail, over this side. So, to tell the gender, males carry 2 hemipenes, and if I had to press here and insert, you would actually see 2, basically the penis. All right?
Okay.
Yes. That's the way how we tell the gender. You okay over there, Stacey?
Yes, this is interesting. You know, the last time, well, I think the first time, you know, a woman started talking to a snake, I don't think things went too well,
Well,
for
so
the
Stacey,
world. But here we are.
You know what's even better? If you have 2 snakes.
So using these 2 as an example, if you didn't have them in your sanctuary, if you weren't caring for them and they were just out there in the wild, growing to as big as they can grow, how big do they grow?
All right, so this species is called a ball python. They are from Africa, and these guys would only grow up to 5 feet in length. Only 5 feet in length.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the maximum size that they will grow to.
Right.
And because these are actually morphs meaning the type of snake, they wouldn't make it, they don't have any sense of camouflage and stuff, so they probably wouldn't make it in the wild.
Okay.
Yeah, they would probably die.
Right. But for those who will make it in the wild, not die, what can happen if they're just out there not being cared for?
Well, the good thing about it is that we don't have these species in Barbados, so that snake alone wouldn't be able to reproduce.
Okay.
That's the good side about it.
Okay.
Right, but then if we have more, obviously, meeting up with another gender, they will reproduce. And because it's a foreign species to the island, making it invasive, it wouldn't then be good for the ecosystem.
All right. You describe these snakes as being ambassadors of your
Yes.
sanctuary. For instance, the one we saw on the video, Merciless.
Yes, merciless.
What do you mean by ambassador?
We call them ambassadors because we take them out into schools. We take them out into schools. We take them into the neighborhood and let persons interact with them. And these become basically teaching tools, so that persons get to interact and they're not ignorant to the fact that they don't know that these snakes can kill them. We let them know that the snakes cannot kill them. These are harmless snakes. All right, so that's why we get out there. We try to teach children that they're harmless. If you see them out, don't kill them. You can call us at the Marizayra Sanctuary. Even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning time, we will come and collect any exotic animals that you see running around Barbados. Okay, so that's where we target mainly the schools. We take them into schools, and that snake that you saw earlier, Merciless, I can put her in any child's hand. Admit her size, I can put her in any child's hand and know that she will not hurt that child. That's how we pick them very carefully to become ambassadors.
Okay.
Because of their temperament.
Right. But you're sure that we don't have any venomous snakes?
Well, knock on wood, we're not supposed to have any here in Barbados at all.
Have you ever actually come upon any venomous ones?
Here in Barbados?
Yes.
No, I've just left Trinidad and was doing some training with some colleagues over there, so I interacted with venomous snakes over there.
Okay.
Yes, but not here in Barbados.
All right. So basically, the snakes that we have in Barbados that we know about, they are not the ones that are going to kill you.
No.
But still, we should not just have them roaming around.
Exactly, because they are, if they get into the ecosystem, they may cause an issue because they are not native to Barbados.
Tell me what issue they can possibly cause.
Here in Barbados, technically, we don't have any. We only have 2 different types of snakes. But if we may have other snakes that would eat snakes, that would be problematic to our snakes here in Barbados. But these guys wouldn't eat other snakes. The only thing that, well, again, to the flip side, that they would probably get rid of some of the rats that we may have here in Barbados.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the good side about it.
So as we wrap up now, tell me about COVID and pandemic.
Yeah.
What do they do on a daily basis?
Well, there again, as we mentioned just now, they are ambassadors. So when children and stuff and visitors come to the sanctuary, we allow them to interact with these guys. Again, they're fed once every 2 weeks.
What do you feed them?
They're fed on, they have a wide variety, well, a small variety of chicks or rats or mice.
Okay.
Yes.
And your parting words as we wrap up on this particular subject of care and conservation of reptiles and exotic animals in Barbados.
As I said before, if you're going to have a snake, please do your research. Make sure that whatever you're putting the snake in, it is secured, that the snake does not escape into the public's domain. If you're not sure, you can contact the Barbados Reptile Association. These guys would be able to give you any information that you would need prior to having any of the reptiles. All right. And again, we at the Marizayra Sanctuary, we encourage any assistance that we can get. We are presently in this, looking for a bigger area, because at the sanctuary we are about educating persons about the reptiles and stuff that we have here in Barbados. So we are now in the process of looking for a bigger facility to house our sanctuary.
Because these animals are actually going to be living out their years at your sanctuary.
Yes.
At least that's what you would like.
Any of the animals that come into the sanctuary, we do not allow back out.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a lifelong commitment.
Exactly.
Your life's work. And I wish you all the best.
So that's the way we ask for help.
And thank you so very much.
Thank you
for coming in
Stacey.
today and bringing COVID and pandemic.
You're
but
welcome.
unlike the virus, they're harmless.
Yes.
Thank you.